Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's IELTS speaking class. My name is Alexander, and I'll be going through some tips today related to the IELTS exam, and I'll also be providing opportunities for speaking practice for students who have joined me live today in the class. So a warm welcome to those who are joining us live in the class, as well as to those who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. If you are watching the class live, then please let me know. Let me know your name and also where you currently are at the moment. And it will be great to see how many people we've got watching the class and which parts of the world you are currently in. So, as I say, we will be doing some speaking practice today. I'll be going through a few tips as well. For those who have seen the class before, usually we are joined by Jennifer from Connetics, but it is Thanksgiving today, so she will be having a well-earned break to enjoy the Thanksgiving festivities. A happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to all of those who are watching from the US or any other countries where the celebration is held. So who have we got watching us today? We've got Mikiel, who is watching us on Facebook. Good evening to you, Mikiel. Joined in the class, we have Jay, Christopher, and Jasmine. So I look forward to doing some speaking practice with you in the session today. Flora has also joined us in the class. Welcome to you, Flora. And we'll see who else joins us as the class progresses. A happy Thanksgiving, says Mikiel. Are you celebrating Thanksgiving today, Mikiel? I'm based in the UK, so we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving here. But as I say, I hope that for those who are celebrating the festivities, that you're having a good time and enjoying a well-earned break, if that's indeed what you have today. I've got Keith Jacath, who is watching from the Philippines. Good evening to you. And he is watching on Facebook. We're also joined on Facebook by, I can't pronounce this one, but we're joined from on Facebook by someone who is watching us in Thailand. Karen, also watching from the Philippines. So great to see that we're being joined by a number of students. Tin has joined us in the class as well. So I look forward to getting you involved in some practice coming up, Tin. Okay, wonderful. So let's see then. As I said, I am going to go through some tips related to the exam to begin with, and then we will be moving on to do some speaking practice. Just before we do look at that, for those who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube, if you would like to join us directly in the class and you would like to do practice such as this in order to improve your speaking and to get feedback on your IELTS preparation, then you can do that by joining us on the Ielts Scholarship program. All you need to do is to click on the link, which you will see scrolling across the bottom of my screen in just a second. Here we are. That is the IELTS Scholarship program. You just need to click on the link and then click on a following link, which will be Staff Nurse. You can do this to find out more information and to receive all the support you need in your ambitions to live and work as a nurse in the United States. So this time next year, you could be celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States. We can help to support you achieve that ambition. So the topic that I want us to focus on today is grammar, particularly reported speech. So reported speech is something which we can use in order to tell others what was previously said. So here's an example on the screen. My wife told me to be careful while driving. I asked my friend to lend me some money. So these are things which are said from one person to another person, and they are being reported in these sentences. We can imagine the original sentence was, "Be careful while driving, darling," something of that nature. Yeah, we report it by writing or saying, "My wife told me to be careful while driving." And we can imagine that for the second sentence, the original sentence was something such as, "Oh, can I borrow some money?" And this has been reported as, "I asked my friend to lend me some money." So this is reported speech. It can be particularly useful in the IELTS exam because for part 2 especially, we often have to give an extended response to a question. And so reporting information that happens, it could be a conversation between ourselves and another person, or it could be a conversation between two other people. It can give us more material. And by using reported speech accurately and appropriately, we can also improve our grammar. So that's the point. We can improve our variety in use of grammar, and we can improve our accuracy as well. I can see we've been joined, by the way, by Elizabeth on YouTube. Hello to you, Elizabeth. So just to practice this, how could we report the following sentences? So we've got direct speech here. Friend, do you want to watch a football match? Me, sure, why not? So it's a short exchange. We could imagine that the topic for IELTS Part 2 might be describe an event that you went to with a friend. And so what we're going to do is we're going to report why we went to the football match. And we're going to report these sentences in order to achieve that part of the task. So let me know in the comments box if you think that you could report these sentences, how you might report them, what you might say in order to report them. Let me know if you have any ideas. Okay. So we'll see if any ideas come through. If you do share your ideas, then I will share them with the class. But let me give an example of how I would report these statements. So here is a possible answer. My friend asked me if I wanted to watch a football match, and I said yes. Okay, so this is reported speech. So you can see that I've highlighted some features of this sentence. First of all, we've got the reporting verb. So for reporting speech, we should use a reporting verb in the past tense. So there are two reporting verbs here. The first one is asked, okay, because it was a question. Do you want to watch the football match? That was a question, so we should use asked. And the second reporting verb is said. So this was a response that I gave. So obviously I'm using the past tense of say in order to report that. We should also use if or whether when we are reporting questions. So ask me if I wanted to watch the football match. That's why I've got if in there. The original verb will often change tense, as you can see. So if we go back to the original question, it was, do you want to watch the football match? Present tense. But I've reported it in the past tense because obviously the question was asked in the past. So ask me if I wanted to watch. And also it's worth noting that when we're reporting speech, we obviously don't have to use the exact words that we used in the original statements. We can use words which have the meaning, but aren't necessarily the exact same words that we used originally. So rather than saying, I said, why not? I've reported it as, I said, yes. Okay, so this is an example of the use of reported speech. We can use this, obviously, to show a variety of grammar, to show our ability to use tenses correctly, using the past tense where appropriate. And we can also show different elements of grammatical structure as well. So using if as a way of reporting questions will help to show grammatical accuracy. Hello to Tahir, who has joined us from Facebook. Hello to Mary Joy as well, who is watching on Facebook too. So if we have a look at the following sentences, here's a slightly longer exchange, this time between, oh, sorry, I've gone too far. This time between a husband and wife. So we can see husband, have you seen my keys anywhere? Wife, no, I'm afraid I haven't. Husband, are you sure? I can't find them anywhere. So, similar thing again. How could we report these statements? Let me know if you have any ideas. Okay. I'm going to share with you how one may attempt to report them. So here is an attempt to report these sentences. However, there's a problem. There are mistakes. There are grammatical mistakes in these sentences. So can anyone see any mistakes in these sentences? Let me know if you can. Hello, Alice. Nice to see you watching on Facebook. Okay. So can anyone see any mistakes here? There are a number of them. So we're going to have a look at the mistakes together, just so we can see what we should try to avoid when we are performing in the IELTS exam ourselves. So let's see then. So the first mistake is my husband asked me to see his keys. That's wrong. If we're reporting a question as opposed to a request, it should be asked me if, not asked me to. So asked me plus if plus clause. In this case, we can see that have you seen, this uses the present perfect. So when we're reporting this statement, it should be had seen, which is the past perfect. So present perfect, when it's reported, goes to the past perfect. We don't need to use anywhere because we don't have to report the words exactly. We've got anywhere at the end of the statement as well, so we don't need to use it twice. So I've eliminated that. It should be I told him. So we need to use an object here after tell. Always after the verb tell, we need an object. So I told him. I hadn't. Okay, because again, we've got the present perfect in the original statement. So when we're reporting this, we should use the past perfect. But he asked me, again, it's a question, so we should use asked, not said. He asked me if I was sure because he couldn't find them. So in this case, he says I can't. That's in the present, but we're reporting, aren't we? So because we're reporting, we should use the past tense. So you can see that it's quite easy to make mistakes with reported speech, which is why we have to be careful. And if we're able to get reported speech right, then we're going to do a very good job when it comes to achieving high levels of grammatical accuracy in the exam. So it's a good feature to use. It's a good thing to practice in order to get confident with it. And then if you can use it effectively, then that will be a really good way of getting a high score for grammar in the IELTS speaking test. So Pammy has noted some of the mistakes. To see, I told, he said me. So this is it. So it should be told with an object. To see was a mistake, Pammy. Well done for noticing that, as we've identified. We can't use said me. So with said, we don't use an object. We use tell. That's the difference between say and tell. You tell somebody something, but you say something. You don't have an object with say. Okay, so I can see that Devine has joined us on YouTube. Hello to you, Devine. So that is the tip then for today, to try to use reporter speech when providing personal anecdotes. This is most commonly the case in parts 1 and 2 of the test, especially part 2, because you give an extended answer. So there's a good opportunity there to use reporter speech in order to provide extra details, and also, if you use it correctly, to show your ability to use a variety of accurate grammar in your speaking. If you do this, then you will improve your grammar score in the speaking test. So let's do some practice now then. We're going to start with IELTS Speaking Part 1 today for a bit of a change. And let's see who we've got who's joined us live in the class. I can see we've got a number of students. I'm going to try and bring Jay into the class. Hi there, Jay. Are you with us?
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Hi, Sir Alex.
Hello,
Can you
how
hear
are
me?
you today? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, clear. I can hear clearly.
Brilliant.
I'm fine
Brilliant.
and nervous.
Good. Don't be too nervous.
Still,
This is number 2, right? This is the second time you've joined us. Is that
yes.
correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
correct.
Brilliant. Well, we're doing
I
part
don't
1.
know, but
Good.
I always feel nervous whenever I do practice. But
It,
yeah.
it is natural. It is natural, yeah, for us to feel a bit nervous. But the good news is we're
Mm-mm.
starting with part 1. So part 1 is the least challenging out of the 3 parts of the test. So it gives us an opportunity to warm up a little bit, as well as obviously to show our ability in the exam. So let's see
Mm-mm.
how we do. Um,
Sure.
oh, okay, so Jay, let's have a look. We're going to move on to the first topic. Just some tips here in terms of how to approach this, but let's have a look at it. So the topic is writing. So Jay, can you tell me, how often do you write?
Actually, I write every day. In fact, I used to write for me to practice my writing skills, for me to ace my IELTS test in the writing subtest. So I usually write in a daily manner.
And what sort of things do you tend to write?
Well, aside from what I've mentioned a while ago, in my profession as a nurse, we still do a documentation for our patients. So we still document some findings that are related to them so that we could monitor their progress to recover from their illnesses.
Do you prefer writing by hand or typing?
Honestly, it depends because on the one hand, I used to write using my hands whenever I jot down notes or just making a list. But on the other hand, I prefer to use a computer whenever I need to formally write a letter that I need to send to someone.
In your country, are children often encouraged to write by hand or to write on the computer?
As I've observed, we still have writing subject included in the school curriculum here in the Philippines. So I believe that they still encourage use to use to write using a pencil and a paper.
And do you think it's important for children to learn to write neatly?
Absolutely, because um, when a child writes legibly, it it gives a good feedback to other people. So other people would assess the child as a organized type of person, and even um, and also other good traits as like being an order and being precisely or or something like that. Sorry, I got lost on
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine.
that.
Okay,
Okay,
that's great. Thank you for that, Jay.
thank you.
So, some good responses to those questions there. I think we're using some nice range in vocabulary. So, some phrasal verbs were coming up there. We looked at phrasal verbs last week. Jot down
Mm-mm.
was quite nice.
Okay.
You were paraphrasing effectively as well. So, legibly was a nice word to use as opposed to neatly. Um, Using pencil and paper as opposed to writing by hand was a nice
Mm-mm.
paraphrase as well. So you're showing your variety in vocabulary by using those expressions. Just a few slips in terms of some other expressions. So you said in a daily manner, you tend to write in a daily manner. So on a daily basis is
Oh,
the
okay.
expression. Yeah.
On preposition on. Okay.
On a
Thank you.
daily basis, yeah.
Okay, on a daily
Um,
basis.
exactly. And also used to, you only use for past events that were habits, not for present events. So you said I used to write, but then you said I usually write. So usually would be correct.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
you're referring to the present. Yeah, used to referring to the past.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, and then you said with writing neatly, you said it gives a good feedback. So the idea was clear, but I think a more natural expression would be it makes a good impression.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. You're correct, sir.
that would have been a good expression. But yeah, your ideas are very clear. You use some good linking expressions as well. Some nice hedging expressions. So when I asked you whether you prefer writing by hand or typing, you said honestly it depends. Linking expressions, on the other hand, when you were talking about writing something more formal. So and yeah, ways of answering the question, absolutely, expressing opinion. There was some good language used there for evaluating and giving opinions. So yeah, some really good stuff there. Just have obviously make a record of some of those expressions. There was a little bit of hesitation at times, but that's natural when you're feeling a little bit nervous. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, definitely some good use of vocabulary and some good technique there,
Okay.
Jay. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you,
No worries.
Alex.
Thank you. Take care. Okay, so we're going to move on to another topic. Let me try and bring in a student who we haven't practiced with before. If there are any new students here, I can see we've got Tin. Let me try and bring in Tin. Oh, no, Tin's not there. He's disappeared. Okay, so let me bring Flora in. How you doing, Flora? Are you there?
Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. Are you ready to do some part one practice?
Okay, I'll try.
Good, we're going to give it a go. Okay, so the topic we're going to have a look at now is new places. So the first question I have for you, Flora, is have you been to any new places recently?
Well, I've been visited to one of the places in the United States when I had my vacation, but that was 2 years ago before the pandemic, and it is in Los Angeles. Uh, I visited my aunt who stays there.
And did you enjoy it?
Yes, absolutely. Because I was able to spend quality time with my aunt and my cousins, and we were able to visit some amusement park and nice places.
And which place do you like to go to when you have a holiday?
Oh, probably I will choose the one I visited before, which is the United States, specifically in California, where my relatives are staying at, and I would I would really wanted to come back and visit again the Disneyland where I visited previously.
When was the last time that you moved to a new home?
Oh, to be honest, it was way back 7 years ago when I started working overseas, here in Saudi Arabia. So that was long time. So as far as I remember, transferring or moving to other place or other home is quite difficult because there are some adjustment you need to consider. Hello?
Oh, what happened there? I lost
Ah,
connectivity brief. Um,
okay.
sorry, let me.
Sorry for that.
No, that's my fault. Let me just get back to where we were. Oh, here we go. So sorry, yeah, I asked you about when you moved home. If we could just start that one again. Sorry, yeah. When was the last time that you moved home?
Oh, okay. The last time uh, I uh, moved out is, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago when I started working overseas here in Saudi Arabia. And it's quite difficult because there are some adjustment you need to consider, not only to the place where you are moving, but also to the environment that you're you're gonna adjust with.
Would you like to move to a new country in the future?
Well, I was uh I was on that uh oh sorry. Well, yes, I'm planning to move to some or to other place which I can um explore and uh oh sorry.
That's okay.
I get run of ideas.
which country would you like to move to in the future?
Probably in the United States, because it is where my relatives um staying at, and I wanted to be with them.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much, Flora. So some nice responses there.
I don't think
Um,
I answer nicely.
you could do some nice vocabulary. So some nice expressions like quality time. That was a nice expression. Working overseas was a nice expression. There was some different forms of words you were using, adjustment, and then also adjust as a verb as well as a noun. So you weren't just repeating the same words or the same forms of words. I'm planning to move. So using the present continuous but to refer to the future was nice as well. So yeah, there was some good stuff in there, Flora. There was quite a lot of hesitation. So maybe you're sort of spending quite a lot of time thinking about the ideas that you want to talk
Yeah.
about. So yeah, there was a bit of hesitation there, which ideally you'd want to reduce just so you can produce more language and so you can obviously improve fluency by reducing hesitation.
Okay.
And just a few slips with plural form. So you said some amusement park, but some it's countable. So you would say some amusement parks. And
Okay.
then similar with adjustment, you said to make some adjustments, but again, it's countable. So some adjustments in
Okay.
plural form. Yeah, and then just to slip with the preposition, you said the environment you're going to adjust with, but it should be adjust to is the
Oh,
preposition
okay.
you'd use with adjust. Yeah. So
Okay.
just a few slips on grammar, but yeah, there's lots of good stuff in there as well, and there was some accuracy in grammar that you were using. But the main thing I would focus on is just reducing those hesitations as much as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Alex.
No worries, Flora. Thank you. Best of luck going forward. Okay, so we're going to continue with part one, and we're going to have a look now at the topic of flowers. So let's see who we can bring in to talk to us about flowers. Who we got that's joined us? Jasmine. Let me bring Jasmine in. Are you there,
Hello,
Jasmine?
Alex.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good. Where are you based, Jasmine?
So I'm currently here in the Philippines.
In the Philippines. Nice. And how are things in the Philippines?
Yes. I think we're still in the midst of the pandemic, but I think we're almost surpassing or beating the COVID.
Okay, okay. It's moving in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay, good to hear. Is this the first time you've joined us, Jasmine, or have you been with us before?
It's my first time.
Well, a warm welcome to the class.
Thank
And
you.
no worries. And yeah, so we're going to look at part one. So my first question to you, Jasmine, is do you like flowers?
Yes. Definitely, I love flowers, especially those like roses. In fact, my name by myself, it's a name after jasmine flower. So I really love flowers.
And do you like having flowers in your house?
Yes, especially if fresh flowers because it gives good vibes to start my day, and it also add accent to my like for example in my dining table.
And what kinds of flowers are popular in your country?
Here in the Philippines, the most famous flower here is I think the rose because it is usually being given to special someone like your mother during a special occasion or during birthdays. So flowers are usually being used as a gift, and that's why I think it's popular.
Are there any flowers that have a special meaning in your country?
Yes, like for example, the Sampaguita flower, it is considered to be our national flower. So um, this symbolizes purity and um, honesty. So I think it that gives the special meaning to that flower.
Is it common for people to send each other flowers in the Philippines?
Yes, I think so because it it it's like it conveys love or an affection to individual. That is why flowers are used to convey messages. Like for example, if you are going to the hospital, visit your um, sick friend or a relative, always usually we are giving flowers just to send a message that it's like a get well soon note or like this.
And have you received flowers often?
Unfortunately, it's not frequent, but during a special occasion, like for example, our anniversary with my husband, he usually surprised me with our special or memorable dates. So these are things that often that he gives me flower, but not frequently because sometimes flowers here are also expensive.
Mm. Okay, thank you very much, Jasmine. Some really nice responses to the questions there.
Thank
So
you.
you say again?
Thank you.
No worries. Yeah. So yeah, you spoke at a natural pace. You gave good development on the answers. That was the most impressive thing, is the way that you didn't just give short answers, but you developed the points. The points you made were coherent. They were focused to the topic. You're using a lot of linkers as well, linking expressions to provide cohesion to the points you were making. So it was easy to follow what you were saying. So a really strong response to these questions. You're using some variety in grammar, some passive voice. What was the name of the flower, the national flower of the Philippines?
It's Sampaguita. I
Okay,
think it's a Spanish name. It's like a Spanish name, but this is a white color flower.
okay. I'll have to look into that. But
Okay.
yeah, but it was a nice description that you gave of it. Yeah, you said it's considered to be our national flower. Just a slight slip in use of passive. You said at one stage it is usually being given when referring to roses. It is usually given. You don't need to use being in this case.
Okay.
Just yeah, the present simple would be fine. And then there was just one point as well. You said that having flowers in the home, you said it gives accent. I think you said it add accent. So
Yes.
not quite natural. So I think atmosphere maybe, or ambience, or yeah, it provides you could say it provides a nice atmosphere, or it provides
Yes,
color
actually, I was planning to tell it accentuate the dining table, something like that.
or
I don't
emphasis.
know. You could
Maybe
see.
emphasis is to
Yes.
sort of to emphasize the colors. Yeah, that might be a more natural word. But yeah, aside from that, really nice responses to the questions, Jasmine. You're very confident, and you did a very good job.
Thank you.
So no
Thank you
worries.
for
Well
the
done.
opportunity, Alex. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm just seeing it here, Sampaguita. Ah,
Yes.
I'm gonna do a bit of research on this. Thanks for that, Jay.
Okay.
Okay, take care, Jasmine. So we're going to move on to have a look at part 2 very shortly. Just before we do, for those who are watching us live on YouTube and Facebook, if you would like to get involved in classes like this, and more generally, if you are a nurse who desires to live and work in the United States, then we can support you in that objective. Here at the IELTS Scholarship Program, you can find all the support you need in order to pass your IELTS exam and to tick all of those boxes in order to live and work in the United States in the nursing profession. All you have to do is to click on the link, which you can see scrolling at the bottom of the video just now, and then click on the option Staff Nurse in order to find out more information. It's worth noting that you could potentially get all of this support for free. So we're going to look at part 2 now. Part 2 differs to part 1, of course, in the sense that you give an extended response. You'll have 1 minute to prepare your response, and then you should speak about a topic for between 1 to 2 minutes. So let's see who wants to do some part 2 practice with us today. Again, I'm going to try and bring in some new students. I can see we've got Adaure. Is that the correct pronunciation? I'm going to try and bring her into the class. Hi there.
Hi,
How do you pronounce your name?
Adaure. You can call me Sylvia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Okay, Sylvia. Oh, I'm doing well, thanks. I'm doing well. Welcome to the class today. Where are you based at the moment?
I'm based in Nigeria.
Okay, wonderful. And are you familiar with the IELTS exam?
Yes, I've started stuttering for some time.
Okay, that's good. Well, we're going to be having a look at a part 2 question together now. So let me share this with you. Okay, so can you see the topic on your screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so you'll have a minute then, Sylvia, to prepare your response, and then you should speak on this topic for between 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, Sylvia, you ready to begin?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, so please describe a bad habit that someone you know has.
Okay. Bad manner is something I would say that every individual should endeavor to avoid, because if you are marked or if you are identified as somebody that has bad manner, you will be always be avoided by anybody. So right here, I would like to talk about somebody, a friend whom I know that has a very bad habit. She is a colleague in the office. She's a fellow nurse, and I realized this immediately I started working in that unit. She was the first person that confronted me. In fact, one of the bad manners she had is that she always intrude into topics that don't concern her. She talks anyhow. I can say she's quite loquacious. She doesn't think before she talks, and that has made her several times fell out with our patients. She doesn't have a way. She doesn't have this listening skill or communication skill. She doesn't know how to talk to patients so that the patients will feel cared and loved. So several times I've tried to approach her in order to enlighten her as to how to talk to people or how to behave whenever she sees a stranger, but she remained adamant. If in fact everybody has known her for such reputation, and
Okay,
and
thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. That's great. Nice. So obviously you had a lot to say about your colleague there, and you gave an extended response, which obviously this is what you should do for part 2, describing the habit that she has and the problems that it's caused. So that was great. Some nice use of vocabulary in there. I particularly like the fact that you used the word loquacious. So you used it in a very appropriate context as well. She doesn't stop talking, basically, but it's a nice way of saying it. Some other nice words that we use to enlighten her, intrude. So yeah, clearly you've got a good range of vocabulary there, and you were using it effectively. Well, the strategy was good as well. The introduction, you gave a nice introduction to the talk, which is always a good thing to do because it helps to provide structure, and also, of course, it helps you to speak for longer. But yeah, I was going to say just a few slips on grammar. So bad manners is what we usually say. Someone who's got bad manners. Yeah.
thank you. So
So yeah,
I
usually it's
realized it, but I didn't have it. I couldn't correct it immediately.
this is it.
Thank you.
The meaning was clear, obviously, but yeah. And just a few slips on verbs. So you said it made her fell out with her patients, but made her fall out, because after you've got make, obviously, as the main verb, and then you're using the infinitive. So yeah, made her fall out is what you'd want to say there. And he says she always intrude. So intrude was a nice word, but she always intrudes. Third person singular with the S. So those were the only slips I was noticing, really, just with verb forms. Aside from that, your speaking was very accurate, and yeah, you're speaking at a natural pace, and with vocabulary, you were very strong on that. So yeah, I would just say just look at some of those verb forms as you're sort of preparing going into the exam, and yeah, and you could improve even further with the grammar side of things. But otherwise, you're looking really strong, Sylvia. So it was good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate.
No worries, Sylvia. It's great to have you involved. Have you got your test coming up soon?
That will be by January.
Okay. So early next year, we're looking at doing it. Okay. Well, best of luck as you do that, and yeah, I hope to see you in the class again. Wonderful.
Yes, I will. I'll be attending the class.
Brilliant. I'll look
I
out
hope
for
you
you.
give me. I hope you give me more chances to talk.
I'll certainly endeavor to do so. Thank you,
Thank,
Sylvia. Take care.
thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to another part 2 topic. And this time we are looking at waiting, the topic of waiting. Okay, so let's see who we can bring in to discuss this topic. Again, I'm going to try and bring in a student who hasn't practiced before. We try and give as many opportunities as possible. Let me bring Daisy in. Hi there, Daisy.
Hello,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good, glad to hear it. Are you joining us for the first time today?
Yeah, first time, and I just woke up.
Oh, is that because you're on a night shift, or what
No,
time
I'm
is it
here
where you
in
are?
Canada right now, so it's only 7:15 in the
Ah,
morning,
oh wow, oh wow. Well, welcome
and it's
to the
still
class,
dark outside.
Daisy. Yeah, I can. In the UK at 7:15, it is very much dark outside as well. So super early.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, Daisy, are you familiar with the IELTS speaking exam?
yeah, I heard about that many times.
Good, good, brilliant. Well, have a look at the topic on your screen. You've got a minute to prepare, and then you should speak about this topic for between 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, Daisy, are you ready to begin?
Yeah,
Brilliant. So please describe a time when you spent a long time waiting for someone.
okay. Um, I've been waiting for my husband since long time, maybe 5 years. Because before I work in Saudi Arabia and he's working in Taiwan. So we separated for more than 5 years. And that time we had only one child. So I was in Saudi that time and I heard something something strange that he is doing there. So I told him that if you really want reconciliation with me, we need to. I'm sorry, I'm feeling nervous. we
That's
need
okay.
to we need to do something final decision that we should resign together and start a new life in the Philippines again. So we did that one for we planned that one for 1 year until such a time that I let him choose. You choose me or the other one, the third person. So it's very hard to wait for that long time. I feel excited, but at the same time anxious and angry because I did not feel my value to him. He's so I don't know. Sorry,
That's okay.
I feel shaking.
That's okay. So is this something which you are still waiting for, or has a resolution been found?
Now we have already been resolved our issues, so we are here now in Canada.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Happy ending.
Yeah, that's
Good,
right.
good. Okay. So Daisy, so well done for getting involved there. I could hear you scribbling away, making notes before. What were you writing with your notes, out of interest?
I wrote the name of my husband and my feelings when I waited for such a long time.
Okay, good. So that gave you some topics which you could talk about, some ideas we could talk about. So it was good. So the idea was, obviously it was clear, you communicated in a way which was coherent, your pronunciation was accurate, and you were answering the question directly. There was quite a few hesitations as you were talking, which is why I was asking about the notes, because ideally the notes will help to reduce the hesitations in your speech, so that you're able to show a good level of fluency in so doing. So that's just something I would just bear in mind for part 2 going forward, is to try to reduce the pausing as much as possible. Use those notes to keep you going, to keep you flowing as best as possible. But of course, I understand, when you're feeling nervous or anxious, that can lead to you hesitating. Yeah, so you were very accurate in your use of language. It was just the variety was limited, just because the hesitation means that you didn't produce as much language as you would have done without that. So I think, with accuracy, that was good. That was strong. But try to produce a little bit more would be what I would say. Don't monitor yourself so much that, okay, so your accuracy is really good, that's fine, but if you're not producing enough, then you're not going to give the examiner enough to go on to be able to award you the highest marks. So yeah, that's the thing to focus on, I think, is just reducing the hesitation, really. But otherwise, it's looking strong. And you did well. So just one thing I'll pick up on, actually, you said, I did not feel my value to him was one thing you said. So again, yeah, your ideas are really clearly expressed, but I didn't feel valued by him would be a slightly more natural way of expressing that idea. Yeah, to not feel valued by someone. Yeah, but aside from that, yeah, you were using accurate language. Yeah, just want to hear
Thank
more of
you.
it. Okay, no worries, Daisy. Well done.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Okay, so we've got time then for one more practice. Let's see who is in the class who we've not practiced with yet. So I'm going to bring Christopher in. Are you there, Christopher? Hello, Christopher.
I'm so sorry I cannot participate since I am working right now.
Oh, no
I'm just
worries.
listening.
No worries, no worries. Maybe next time. Okay. Who else is in the class with us? Let me bring Sel into the class. Hi there, Sel.
Hi, sir.
Hi,
Good
how are you
evening.
doing today? Good
I'm
evening to
doing
you.
good.
Good, good, good. You had a nice week so far?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to
I
hear,
have a
Sel.
great day.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to move on to part 2. Well, we're going to stay with part 2, I should say, but we're going to move on to a new topic, which is a building. Okay, so can you see the topic on your screen?
Yes, sir, I do.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've got a minute then, Sel, to prepare. You may make notes if you wish, and then you should speak on the topic for between 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, Sally, you ready to begin?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Skyscrapers are one of the beautiful places that we can see in the metropolis. So now I want to talk about regarding to the place that I was amazed. It is Breeze Residence that it's found in here in Manila, where I just saw it a couple of months ago. I really amazed that place because it's really certainly interesting inside and out, where I could see the panoramic view in the rooftop. That's really great. And another thing is that they have a lot of things to offer inside, like malls where they can do shopping. And another thing, they have a lot of amenities for recreational activities like gym, where they can able to do physical exercise. And aside from that, there are a huge pool for the children and for young adult. Another thing is that they have different kind of restaurant that has a palatable meal that they offer on the table, which I it's really had a great taste. I feel elated when I came to this place because it's my first time to experience this luxurious things in my life, because my sisters bring me there. She was one of the staff there. That's why I have the opportunity to come to came there.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you very much, Sel. Very good. Your accuracy is improving, which is good to hear. Have you been practicing a lot over the last couple of weeks?
um not so much, sir, but this one is my first time to encounter this topic. That's why it's
Okay.
really hard for me to express what I want to say.
You did a good job. You did a good job. So you were more coherent. You were more fluent this time than in previous practices, which was really good to hear. You were using a wide range of vocabulary as well. Luxurious was nice. Elated, you felt elated. The panoramic view. So yeah, some really nice inside and out was a really nice expression you were using as well. You use intonation effectively, pronunciation features in order to express excitement, to express how you were feeling about this experience. So you did a good job with it. Still some accuracy slips, but not as many as I've noticed previously. So you said my sisters bring me there. So brought, you want to use the past tense because obviously you're referring to something that happened in the past. And then you said the opportunity to came there, but should be the opportunity, either the opportunity to go there or the opportunity to come, because you're using the infinitive now after to. So just a few slips on verbs. And I did hear still one example of can, able to. So remember, you can't use can and able to together. It's
Yes,
either,
sir. Yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It was just one example this time. There's a
Yeah.
few more before. So in terms of linking expressions, you did use the expression another thing quite a lot. So you used it, I counted 3 times. So try to use a bit more variety there. So we can use another thing, but we can also use on top of that, also, aside from that, besides that, moreover. So we can use these other words or expressions just to provide some variety. So we're not using the same linker each time. So that's something to bear in mind. And also you said a palatable meal. Was that the expression you used? Palatable?
Yes, sir. But what's the right term for that? Palatable.
Well, if you say it's palatable, that means that it's it's okay, but it's not great. It's, you know, I can eat it, but it's not fantastic. So what we would say like is a wonderful meal, or, you know, a fantastic meal, or what would be another word that we could use? Marvelous. Yeah, just, you know, that sort of thing. But if we use sort of palatable or edible, it means we can eat it, but it's not fantastic. It's not great. Yeah, I just noticed that. But yeah, some really good stuff in there, Sal. It seems to me that you're becoming more confident. Perhaps that's what it is, and so it's helping you to sound more coherent as a result. So good job.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. A while ago, I remembered the one you told me before that can able to. Then
Yes.
I already said that I so I cannot correct myself anymore. That
Yeah. Well, you can. I
because
mean,
I
this is the
said
thing.
it already.
You'd already said it. You can self-correct during the IELTS. If you make a mistake, you can correct yourself. You don't want to do it all of the time because obviously that's going to lower your fluency. But if you notice that you've made a mistake, you can self-correct, and it's probably good practice to do so as well. So yeah, if you do it in the future and you notice it's a mistake, feel free to correct it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I learned from it.
Good, good.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Have a great weekend, Sal.
You
Take
too,
care.
sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So that brings us to the end of the session for today. Thank you for all those who are watching us on YouTube and Facebook, and of course to all of those that have participated directly in the class. Apologies, I should say, to those who I've not been able to bring in today. But next week I certainly will prioritize those who I was not able to bring in for this week's class. I did a little bit of research on this flower, by the way, the sampaguita, and it's called an Arabian jasmine in English. So there you are. The Arabian jasmine is the national flower of the Philippines. You learn something new every day. Okay, so it just remains for me to say thank you once again for those who have been with us today, and also for those on YouTube and Facebook. If you would like to participate directly in the class and do practice with me, and also get lots of other support in order to live and work as a nurse in the United States, then join us on the IELTS Scholarship Program. You can click on the link, which you can see scrolling across my screen at the moment, and then click on the option Staff Nurse in order to get more information about this. You could potentially get all of this support for free. So until next week, take care and have a great weekend. See you next week.